Hello, everybody. Want to welcome you here this afternoon to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph, and I am the host of this show. So we're doing those series. We've been doing this now for a few months. Can't remember how long, maybe 4 months now, in which I choose a rock band by its letter and we talk about it. So this is called Rock Bands A to Z, and we're going with two letters today because I don't have enough to do one or the other. Some letters you have lots, some not so much. So this is E and F are the two letters we're doing today. We're going to be featuring 5 bands. Let's start with those and we'll talk about each of them. So one of them will be Eloy, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, the Eagles, that's for the E's, and then you have the two F's, Fleetwood Mac and Foreigner. Now there was a few other bands I was kind of thinking about, but I decided these ones probably the most impactful in my history anyways. Maybe not so much in yours, but I think generally speaking they're fairly well-known bands. Even the proggy bands like Eloy, which are only known kind of to the prog community, they still are fairly well known on this channel anyways. So we'll start with the first one, which is Eloy. I did choose this particular album, Silent Cries and Mighty Echoes. I like the cover of this quite a bit because it's got that green feel to it. Now Eloy is well known for their colorful album covers, ranging from bright blues, bright greens, bright purples, bright yellows, bright oranges, bright greens, right? So I have a multitude of their albums. If I was to hazard a guess, I would say maybe I've got a dozen or a little bit more than a dozen of their albums. They've had good representation on my playlist for sure. But definitely one of the stronger progressive rock bands for me. I would think of these guys as like a tier 2 prog band. So not in the upper echelon with the big guys, but they're in that next tier below. Definitely could have maybe made that jump if they could have come big over here. Now they were big in their native Germany, did well over there, and they produced a lot of albums too. Pretty consistently producing albums up until the mid 80s, and then they kind of became like most bands, kind of went off the album thing and sporadically get an album every 2 or 3 years. It's kind of the same with a lot of the bands at that time. Now back in this day and age, most bands were doing maybe 2 albums a year. I don't think that they ever actually did that. I don't recall any 2s. There might be a couple. So their original sound was more kind of, I guess, space rock, but a lot of kind of just rockin' sounds as well. And they gradually grew into this sound that I think most of their albums are known for, which is this kind of melodic space rock sound. This particular album, very Pink Floyd-ish sounding, even more Pink Floyd-ish sounding than Pink Floyd, really, other than the vocal part. But the musical part, very, very Pink Floyd sounding. Lots of really good instrumentation too here. The keyboards are excellent. Drumming is fantastic. This guy is one of the top drummers, I believe. I forget his name now. It's eluding me, and I'm not going to find it here, but we will look. We will give it a try and see what we come up with. Jurgen Rosenthal, I believe, is the guy, but I don't see anything. Just looking in the wrong spots. That's what it's. Oh, here we are. So it's, Jurgen Rosenthal. Excellent drummer. Highly skilled, very noticeable. And I like this album a lot. There's about 3 or 4 of their albums I like a ton that are very space rockish. This one's the more Floyd-ish of all of them, but still really good, solid. A band that if you like that space rock theme, you've got to know about these guys. And if you're just getting into that theme, this is a band I highly recommend for you. Okay, the next band up is Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So it's not one of my bands. I don't really listen to these guys much, but for some reason I now have 4 of their albums. I guess there's this kind of feeling inside me like I should like them. They should be a favorite band. They should be among my best bands, but for some reason they just don't quite resonate with me, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe too keyboard dominated, which is understandable because one of the best, many consider to be one of the top 2 keyboardists of all time. Most people, I think, are kind of leaning towards him now. Sometimes that's because people pass away and people elevate them higher. But I personally think he's like number 2. I like Rick Wakeman better. But Keith Emerson, really good keyboardist. Not afraid to push the limits of the sound as well. I think he made the other 2 guys in this band better as well. I never was a big fan of Carl Palmer. They just, for something, he just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why it is, but you have to recognize that he's a great drummer. I just don't think he's as good as he would have you believe he is. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Greg Lake, on the other hand, is like the god when it comes to vocals. He is one of the best vocalists out there, in my opinion. Definitely a top 5 guy now for me. Good bass player too, and does the acoustic stuff very well for the guitars. And their music is okay. There are a few songs I quite like by them, but not too many. For the most part, I don't go to Emerson, Lake and Palmer much. So if you're looking for a lot of insight into Emerson, Lake and Palmer, I'm not the guy to come to. Although I do appreciate the covers of their albums are quite interesting as well. Their music, very progressive, maybe more out there than any other band, really, in any other progressive rock band. And when they first came out, their first half a dozen albums, they were probably the premium progressive rock band in the world at the time. Now, I don't know how they're viewed now, but they're definitely one of the big 6 for sure, too. So I have like 5 of their albums, including this one, which is Tarkus. I have Trilogy as well as their debut, and Brain Salad Surgery, which is the newest one to the collection. So hopefully one of these albums is going to break me out at some point. And yeah, just really good. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. ELP, affectionately known as. So the next band up is the Eagles. This is the album that broke them for me. Bought this album. I love it. I still love it. Still listen to it on occasion. And I've had different periods liking different songs. Heartache Tonight was the one that drew me in, but after about 2 or 3 months of listening to it, I just haven't really had much interest in that song anymore. It gets too much airplay. And I think it's not that, to me, it's not as great a song as they would have you believe it is. The Long Run I like much better. Some of the other stuff on here is really good too. The softer stuff is quite good with these guys, and I don't generally like ballady type music, but they do an excellent job on it. I do like Joe Welch's In the City, really good track as well. Overall, there's just not really anything bad on this album. Maybe The Greeks Don't Want No Freaks to me, it's a heavier song, but I don't really care much for it as it's probably the only song on the album that I feel that way about. But they also have their bigger album, Hotel California, which sold over 30 million albums. Has some knock it out of the park songs on that. They have a kind of a mixture of that country, poppy, bluesy feel to their music, I guess. I tend to be a little bit more on the vocal part for them because I think they're one of the better harmonic kind of vocalist band. I think that's what sets them apart from the reason I like them as opposed to don't like them. I've never been a big fan of country western music. Even some stuff that kind of has a rock influence I don't really care much for. But this band has a harmony vocal influence, which is really, to me, the thing that sets them apart from most of the other bands. They've sold like a ton of albums too. I don't know what it is, probably the 140 to 150 range, which is among the biggest for an American rock band in their history. Unfortunately, they only have the 7 studio albums, which we will be ranking probably sometime in late July or early September. That's my next window to rank a set of albums. And I think the Eagles, which are the band I've set up to do that, have a ton of stuff. They have a ton of number 1 album songs. They have a ton of songs that have been on the record label, on the record charts. And they have 2 or 3 albums I think are exceptional. This one is my favorite. It's my only masterpiece from them, but Hotel California, of course, One of These Nights, their debut album, all really strong albums. And the 2 that I didn't get into when I was growing up, Desperado and the Border album. Haven't gotten into them yet as much as I've listened to them a little bit, but not too much. And I'm going today to purchase both, so it should be an interesting thing. So that's my third band, the Eagles. Next up for the Fs, the first one for the Fs is Fleetwood Mac. This album actually was the album that beat the Hotel California out for the number 1 album that year. This is a really strong album, a little bit too poppy. I don't know if when I do the Fleetwood Mac album ranking whether this album will be my favorite or not. It might be. I'm not really sure, but this album is proliferated with number 1 songs, like big hits. Don't Stop is on here. Go Your Own Way is on here. The Chain is on here. I Don't Want to Know is on here. Yeah, it's just a really strong album. Did very well, selling millions of copies of albums, and put really this and the first one with these 2 on the cover here, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham joining the band on the previous album to this, really kind of cemented them as one of the great rock bands of the 70s. They have 3 distinct eras to my way of thinking. They have the Peter Green era, you have the Bob Welch era, and then you have the Nicks Buckingham era, which I think all 3 eras are very different. I prefer the middle era with the Bob Welch. It's got some rock in it, it's got some blues in it. It's a little heavier in some ways, not as commercial sounding. This era is much more commercial, did big business for them. The first era is very bluesy, maybe too bluesy for me, but I still like them. Anyways, that's my band. That's one of my Fs, Fleetwood Mac. And the last one on the list today is going to be Foreigner. Chose this album because it's, to me, kind of the transitionary album. So the first 3 albums, 6-man band, kind of heavy, power pop, kind of hard rock. Got some big hits, of course, but a little bit more driving. This album starts to begins that era of poppiness. So a couple members left, Ian McDonald being one of them. And you had 4, that's why it's called 4. You got 4 members left. Still a strong album. My daughter likes this album quite a bit. Jukebox Hero is on here. Waiting for a Girl Like You is on here. Urgent, of course. Don't Let Go, another strong one. It's just pretty poppy album, but the pop stuff is really good. Going forward, it gets more poppy and maybe less appealing to me. The previous 3 albums, their debut and Double Vision and I'm not sure, Head Games, I think was the other one, had some pretty heavy stuff on it. Dirty White Boy, Double Vision, Cold as Ice was on the first one as well. So yeah, strong stuff. I like these guys a lot. Historically, I listened to them a lot early on in my rock era. Stuff like in the late 70s and early 80s, I was into them a little bit more. Got the Double Vision album, played it a lot. But I don't listen to them nearly as much as I used to. Kind of moved away. They've kind of faded a bit for me, but still lots of strong stuff and had to be mentioned here today. So those are the bands for Rock Bands A to Z today, featuring the letters E and F. I'll give them to you one more time. Eloy, ELP, or Emerson, Lake and Palmer if you prefer. The Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, the Rumors album here. And then last but not least, Foreigner. So those are my 5 bands today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to leave any comments in the comment section about any of these bands, you can do that. Or maybe you're one of those people who like to pick your own 5 bands, you can do that as well. And we will see you all throughout the week. Take care. Have yourself a good evening. And goodbye here from the Prog Monster.